Hi, how are you, amigos de Concepto TV? I'm Kayla Wood, and today I'm very happy to have here in this interview our dear friend Kimberly Aria Peterson. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, we wanted to interview her since a long time ago because she's a great actress. She's originally from
Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago, and she lives now in Los Angeles, and she's gonna tell us a lot about her career. So I can't wait.
Okay, yes.
So how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
That's good.
And you?
I'm good, thank
Okay,
you.
good.
I wanted to ask you, like, I checked your resume is like so impressive. I saw like all these different kind of projects that you have been working, all of them in acting, but in so different, like TV and some films and some kind of independent films, some stuff that is more related to studio productions, which is like very vast. Congratulations on that. I think
Thank
it's
you.
a great put together of several, characters and productions. But I was like so impressed by your background, by your school background. Tell us a little bit about you. First of all, how did you start in acting?
Okay.
And then tell us about your other background.
Okay. So how did I start in acting? I think I found acting later in my life. I think a lot of people know at a young age they want to do this, but in when I was in Trinidad, when I moved out of my country to go to school, I went to New York, and I went to a university called Columbia University, and there I studied environmental engineering. But I've always had this dream of acting. I grew up watching a television show called I Love Lucy
Yeah.
with Lucille Ball, and I watched every episode every single year. Like it's kind of it's a childhood thing that kind
Yeah.
of drew me to the acting world. And so while I was in pursuing my schooling and working as an environmental engineer, I was taking acting classes. But I didn't know that I was going to be the career. I think it just started off as a playful hobby. And
Right.
then I did classes for like 5 years straight, never really pursued it as the career part of it.
Right.
So I would wake up early, take 2 trains, go to the office, work all day, and then in the evening run to classes. And I think the benefit of of deciding to do this, in my 20s, I think it was good because I got like I had a lot of experience, like some life experience moving from a different country to kind of like add to the craft. So that's really how I started, just like by taking classes, and then little by little the passion grew. It strengthened, got into a little bit of production, and one day I was like, I'm so sick of working as an engineer. I really want to give
Right.
myself the opportunity to pursue it and, not have regrets in my life of not trying.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I always believe personally that when you're an actor and you have um, a second background on studies or a different profession that that gives you some company while you're being an actor, I think is so much better.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a lot of consistency and gives you perspective even in the career, and in the pursuing. What has been your experience with that?
I think one informs the other. I think definitely the acting really helped me in the public speaking and putting myself out there in the engineering world, like giving presentations, and like it's a whole different inner life that you develop learning to work in a corporate experience and being a female in a male dominated world, and you that lends itself to the acting. Certain roles that you can get, professional roles, kind of how it works in the real world, right? So if
Right.
you get an engineer or a corporate person or someone in finance, like how the behaviors actually are in that establishment, so you can bring it to the craft or
Right.
the character. Yeah,
Right.
they all inform each other. I think like acting, the more like experience you can get through life, or maybe just even through literature, through reading, that the more colorful your inner landscape is, the more you can bring to a character. So I think, you know, literature and reading, and I love to do that because then it kind of like creates a world inside of me.
Right, right. But totally agree. I think the more real experiences that you have, you know, like, you know what is to have a 9 to 5 job, like
Yeah.
certain kind of responsibilities, a point of view about what a corporative world wants because it's paying you, and all these kind of
Exactly.
factors, you know, inflict a lot in your personality as an actor. And of course, at some point, you know, the way that you perform and how
Yeah.
you develop the character.
And I think like the business aspect of it too.
Yeah.
Because it's vicious.
Yes.
So like learning how to manage, like taking my, let's see, like my project management skills that I learned in the corporate world and my multitasking skills, and being like, okay, how do I operate myself as a business in this industry?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think, you know, my resume is still developing. It's still early days.
Totally, but it's quite impressive.
But it's, yeah, but I've done well. And just recognizing and appreciating that everything that you do, every audition that you get, it's a win, because it's this industry, it there's a lot of people in it, you know.
Right.
So everything I kind of look at as just a win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point of a way to see it, you know, a great perspective, especially because, as you said, each one that you do, you're winning by learning, by
Yeah.
taking one step ahead. Yeah, I love that. And what can you tell us about your roles, like, for example, the role that you had in Grey's Anatomy, which has been like such an important show.
So that was actually, it's called a crossover role. So it started in Station 19, which I think is like the sister show of Grey's Anatomy. Like they kind of live in the same world.
Like kind of parallel
Yeah.
stories.
So I booked the Station 19, and then it was a crossover into Grey's Anatomy. And that was really fun. The roles I get, I seem to always be pregnant in it. So
For some reason.
I do like a lot of pregnant roles. But that was really fun. It was really exciting to the facility and the studio, and like how massive it is and how detailed it is, and the world that you step into is so amazing, because it's almost like you're like, even though it's just like a studio, right?
Right.
You walk in and you think you're in a hospital.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like, or you think you're for Station 19, you think you're in like a completely different world, because they've set up everything so like perfectly.
Right, because Station 19 happens in a paramedic station, or what
No,
is it?
Station 19, they have different locations.
Okay.
The location I worked in is, gosh, I can't even remember. But basically, they converted a university area into different lots, like different scene lots or whatever. And I think different shows work out of that.
No, okay. But the universe, it's pretty much this kind of like emergency
fire. They're firefighters, so
Okay.
they deal with their firefighting stuff, and then the interpersonal relationships that they have to deal with as well among each other. So I had a co-star role in it, and it was very exciting. I had like something fall on top of me, and then I was going into early labor, and it was all the drama with that.
And that's how you meet Grey's Anatomy.
And that's how I got into Grey's Anatomy.
Because that's the emergency room
exactly
of the same
world.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did you feel when you land that opportunity?
I was really excited. It was. I did not expect it. Like, I think I did the audition, and then like a week later, you know, I heard, oh yeah, you're being pinned for this, and I was like, okay, cool. And then like 3 hours later, it's like, oh yeah, you booked it. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the nerve-wracking thing is like you have to do the COVID testing, right? And even though I knew I didn't have COVID, like you just don't know. Like you're waiting
Oh
for
no, yeah, of course, you're waiting all the time.
You're waiting
yes.
for the test and you're like, do I have it? Do I not? So that was a little
know.
nerve-wracking, but it was such a great experience.
Yeah, because it's part of the protocol now, right?
Yeah,
And
it's a lot of it.
yeah, and in many productions now with this new COVID protocol, sometimes even though you have book, they have option 2 and 3, like just in case, and it's kind of cold feet, right, for everybody. Yeah,
it's a different it's very different.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, because even though you book it, I mean, you want to be like, hey, yes, that's me, but
you
it's
want
still
to celebrate, but there's still that next step that you have to take to make sure that you're in the clear.
Yeah, exactly. That you are in the clear area. Okay, and then I saw this project that I told you it really called my attention on your resume that I love. I would love that you tell us about it, which is Lady of Guadalupe, because it is such an interesting project by the nature of it, you know. First of all, because it's about Lady of Guadalupe, which is La Virgen Guadalupe, which is the Virgin for the Mexicans. And then you had the chance to be with a great Mexican actor, Guillermo Ivan.
Oh, I love him. Yeah,
yes,
it's wonderful.
Yes, and tell us about the story and about your role and how does this story goes.
So Lady of Guadalupe was a period piece. It was half contemporary, half period piece, right? And so I played. It's very interesting story actually. So I lived in the contemporary world of the film. I played Mary, who is Guillermo's wife, and she goes through a tragedy, and it forces him to go on this exploration of self and like kind of explore spirituality and find the grace within him to like trust that she's going to come out. I'm going to come out on, on the other side. So it was a really exciting, but then it takes you, it goes back into the period land where you, which is the story of the whole historical piece of that Lady of Guadalupe. So it was really exciting. It was really fun. Working with Guillermo is amazing. He's a super talent.
Yeah, he is.
He's really talented. He's really kind. The director Pedro was lovely. Everyone on that set was just great. So we shot in New Mexico and then a bit in Mexico City. And when I first met Pedro, the director, it's predominantly a Hispanic
Hispanic
speaking cast and crew. And like I don't speak any Spanish. I'm trying my best to learn. It's been a process. I'm on Duolingo constantly trying to learn. And it was really interesting because like everyone surrounding me spoke Spanish, but they were very like, they helped me. They were very receptive. They were very gracious with me. So it was nice to be. Yeah. And I really I really enjoyed being around. I guess coming from Trinidad, I'm accustomed to like culturally, it's very similar to Latin culture. So it's really nice to be around.
Right.
And what else can I say about that project? It was a lot of fun.
How was Mexico City for you? I mean, Mexico City is my city, let me tell you.
Mexico City is amazing. The food was fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
Guillermo, like, we could not go anywhere without everyone, like, crowding him. I didn't even realize he was such a celebrity.
Yeah.
Because I met him in New York, and he's so persistent in the craft. Like, he's an artist. He's not just an actor. He's, like, a complete artist. And it was great to get a learning experience, like to work with him and see his process and to learn off of him. Because Mexico because he's like so revered. It was really special. It was really nice to be there and get to like get to piggyback off of him and like
Right.
get the love that that he was receiving.
Yeah, he gets from the people, and for so many years of being working there in TV,
Yeah.
films, and everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And what was your experience like in the city, the culture, and all that? Like, I'm asking you this because I don't know if you know, the Guadalupe has like a special chapel,
Yes.
the
So
church.
we shot. We
Oh.
were
Oh, you
able
were
to-
there. Okay.
We were there. We were able to do. They were able to get permission to shoot there for a few hours, but it had to be specific hours. So we had to move really quickly.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that Guadalupe was so. I guess in my culture, it's Mother Mary. I grew up, in Trinidad, like it's the Virgin, and so like I didn't know there was a whole, like
Universe,
and it feels very sacred, and it feels very, and people come from all over the world.
from all over the world.
Yeah, to this. What is it called? The name of I forget the name of the chapel that.
Oh, la basilica.
The basilica. Yeah.
La basilica. Yeah, and it's very impressive because the size. I don't know if you remember that, but just the size of the church is just.
It was incredible.
Yeah, it's very big, and it shows a lot of the. The meaning that these. To be in a project like that has for so many people.
Yeah.
When you see like the basilic and like you said, like all these people from all over the world, and that there are been, especially, in the last 20 years, many projects that they have been trying to do about Virgin Mary or Guadalupe. Yes. But they hadn't done them that much. It's like you are like, this is like probably the fourth, fifth one. Mm-hmm. So there are not many. So it is a very special project. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but what happened was like when we, I think we wrapped in November or December. I think beginning of December. And so the goal was to try and get it released.
Right after,
yeah. But
then the end of the year.
Well, within a few months, right? Because I think what they were doing, they were shooting, and then there was editing going on. So like they would shoot the day, the
dailies,
the dailies, and then they would have an editor on set, and so they were going through things. So they were moving really fast with it. But then COVID happened.
I know.
Yeah, so it kind of like put a wrench in everything for a while. I think. Yeah, it was really unfortunate, because they couldn't, you had to jump through hoops at that point.
Right, yeah. It was complicated, like, globally for everybody. But, but the project is already out there, right? It's been released?
So the project is released. And what is amazing was it first came out in, like, South America, and they dubbed me over in Spanish, which I was so happy about.
That's cool, yeah.
So they had like the dub over, which was really good. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's released now. It's out on
Amazon Prime.
And yeah.
And of course, Station 18 and Grey's Anatomy, we can see them on Netflix, right?
I think it's on Hulu.
Hulu, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, because Hulu has the TV platform, right?
Yeah, the TV platform.
And now, what can you tell us about the other project, Venus, which is very interesting? I found it interesting, and all the, all the independent side and the awards or the film festivals it's been around. Tell us about it.
So Venus as a Boy is written by, this is amazing. The writer, director, editor, producer is all the same person. His name is Ty Hodges.
Okay.
He's fantastic. He is, he paints, he makes music, he acts, he directs, he edits, he does it all.
That's cool.
And he wrote this. I was able to get a small role in it. It was very exciting. It was very, it's a wonderful story, and in Tribeca it won Best Independent Feature.
That's awesome.
So it did really, really well. And I was very fortunate because one of the producers is one of my good friends from Trinidad. And Ty also has Caribbean roots. So it's really exciting to see the Caribbean, Trinidad, and starting to get on the map, you know, which is nice.
Right.
Which is really
Yes,
nice.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, congrats. Yeah, it's Tribeca. It's a very important film festival, um, and especially the attention that you get once that you are in those type of film festivals. You know,
Right.
you get not only the exposure but the attention because the quality. You know,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
quality that you see. I've been in more than a couple of times in Tribeca, and I've seen, you know, the selection of everything that it's there. It's just like so well done,
Yeah.
everything, right?
It takes it's so incredible to watch like people do produce independent films because so much goes into something that's like 90 minutes long.
I
There's like a
know.
whole machine.
I
There's a whole
know.
machine, and like I think every independent film is a miracle.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it's a miracle, and so I have so much appreciation. And you know, I remember growing up, I would quickly say, "Oh, I don't like this movie," or "I don't like this," but now like I don't
Yeah.
say that because I totally understand like how much goes in to create this.
Yeah, the craft. I think when you start actually, you know, acting, making movies, you understand the word craft.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I think I get the point.
It takes a lot of energy to create something. So
Right.
just even if it's not my flavor, I say my flavor ice cream, right? Because like I love ice cream, but I don't love all flavor
Right.
ice cream. So even if this movie isn't my flavor, I really try to just not I'm not critical anymore. I just know, okay, what about it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because you create a different appreciation.
Yes.
And also now you're working on that not only business but craft. You know, you're part of that creation, and then I think at that point you understand. I mean, we all understand like how, you know, the effort, and not only the physical effort, the creative effort, the financial effort, the
Yeah.
time effort. You know, like everything that takes is just so much.
I think, and then like in that world, in the independent film world, like so much can go, so much can go wrong, and
I know.
So I really think it's a miracle each one that gets done.
I agree with you. So how many years have you been in this amazing journey of acting?
Like pursuit of the business itself. My pursuit of the business has not been that long. It's been about 3 years. I think once I made the decision to leave the engineering world, you know, leave that, you know, when you growing up in Trinidad, you don't leave the island and say, I'm going to go be an actor. You say,
Right.
I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an engineer. And when I decided to leave the world and move to LA is when I was like, I'm going to go 10,000% and pursue
Right. Like when you start this chapter.
this.
Like,
Yeah. When I started this chapter, I was like, this is it.
oh wow.
I'm going to give it my all. So it's been about 3 years because I got here right before the pandemic, so end of 2019. Yeah.
Right. And what do you feel now, or how do you feel now with acting? Like for the, you know, in the short term, like in a year's time?
Yeah, you know, so there's been a lot of turnover. Like I've gotten to a place where I absolutely love. Thank you, God. I love my reps.
Cool.
I've been able to manifest. I'm using
Right.
such like fluffy words. I've
Right.
been able to like bring into my life such wonderful representation. My agent and my manager. I could not. I'm so happy about them. But that it was a process to get there, and then finding people that believe in you, even though, you know, because I haven't been in it so long, that they take a chance on you as well, right? So it's really nice to find these people that believe in me, and I love the craft. I love the craft. I think it's I think it's harder than anything that I've ever done in my entire life. It's harder
Yeah.
than any engineering, any schooling, any Ivy League. It's been a really, because there's so much that goes into it. There's so much
Yeah.
that goes into each audition. There's so much like technique and craft and mental work and time. There's a lot of rejection,
No, yeah.
of course, right?
Yes.
And then you just kind of have to keep going, and you kind of
Right.
have to keep asking yourself, like, why am I doing this? And
Right.
I keep going back to my why, like why. And yeah.
Yeah. And what's your personal goal through acting? You know, because
Oh yeah, I wanna like I wanna blow up. I'm not. That's why I said I'm at the beginning of my journey, because I have such big goals for myself, and I'm going to keep on that pursuit. I don't know what journey God is going to take me on, but I'm going to keep on that pursuit, and I want to land a series regular on on a great platform,
Right.
on a great series, a pivotal role. That's really gonna then catapult my career to the next level. I want to. I started a production company with my best friend from Trinidad, so we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, my high school friend. She's also. She was also in the corporate world and left the
okay.
corporate world at the same time as me. And she's a brilliant writer. And we created a company called Pretty Penny Films. And I want us to do our own projects. She's written two pilots, and we have one feature, and we have one short film. And I want to see that, kind of start moving and getting traction as well.
That's amazing. Yeah. So start a different path that can go with you, with acting and with everything, and of course with one of your closest friends.
Yes. So I think we have our both separate creative journeys that we're going on, but collectively we have, a similar goal that we want for the company as well. So it's exciting.
Oh, congratulations. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And then I'm really grateful. And I also think, but also with having the mindset of like, I have to be open to what life brings as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's always important not to close your
Yeah.
views, right?
Exactly.
And something that I also wanted to ask you, and that I find kind of very remarkable and important to mention, I think, is this part that we have been talking about, the corporate world. You being a woman with with education in engineering, which is something that for so many years has been a stereotype to be just for men.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and a woman with your beauty and with your talent and all that. Tell me, because I think it's so important. I believe women like you and like so many women, we're changing the message that everything is just how you look. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? What's your point of view on all that? That I think is so important for society.
Yeah. I mean, in the engineering world, I think it takes a little longer to prove. You have to you feel like you're being tested throughout the way, right? You first get in there and you feel like you're being tested because they, the culture, that world that you're working in, they don't really think that, you may have the capacity like the guys,
right,
until you prove yourself. But once you prove yourself, you're good.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like it's the same way. I mean, there are some hoops you may have to jump through, but I think it's kind of like in this world too, right?
Right.
You know?
But do you sense that is changing? That
I do sense that it's changing. I do sense that it's changing a lot, and that I'm really happy about, because it's annoying when you're feeling like you're being tested. So
I agree.
So it's really annoying. So I think that is changing. I don't feel it as much anymore. And I don't know if I just don't feel it as much anymore because I've chosen to just turn that part off and just be like, I'm just going to do my thing. I also have a great support system of women around me. My agent, my manager, my best friend Christina Namey, she's the one that I have the company with, Pretty Penny Films. Like, I have a strong support system of women. I have 2 sisters, older sisters that support me, my mom. So it's just been like a great tribe of feminine energy in a male-dominated.
Yeah, that's great. That's great because I think it's part of, you know, of the new lecture that we're getting as women. You know, when we were growing up, probably the standards and the tags for women were in a certain way.
Yeah.
And we're just, I think, trying to, you know, break the ceiling and change everything and change the points of view of what people see as values, even, you know, women. So I think it's like so important. Like I always ask, you know, when I'm doing an interview, like all these different talents besides acting and besides what is evident, you know, that you are a good actress, that you're very pretty and all that, because it's so important what you have inside, you know, what you have worked so hard for, your education, your goals, you know, to break your own fears, maybe your own barriers, or something that, you know, that takes you to the next level. Like, for example, this movie Guadalupe, you know, you did it. You didn't speak Spanish, but you went there. You did it. So I think that's very important to mention.
Yeah, yes, I didn't speak the language, and I was a bit nervous about that. But I'm so clear, and it's not always been like this. I'm so clear on the vision that I have for myself, my goals and my dreams, and I'm just going for it. And
That's great.
Like completely. And I used to be very timid to shine my light and to step forth and to be very confident. And like I don't know what switched in me, but I woke up one day and I said, "This is what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna shine as bright as I can." Actually, my best friend, one of my best friends, Alix from Trinidad, she always says to me, "Don't be afraid to shine your light. Don't be afraid to shine your light." And so I always keep that in my head.
Yeah, it's important to have that in mind, and then, you know, keep on growing always.
Yeah.
It's a thing that it always takes you to the next level, also to the next level of yourself, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like self-understanding. And then you said like, oh, what I was thinking like this 1 year ago, was I crazy? Right?
Another great piece of advice I got from a friend, and he's a mentor back in the company that I used to work. And when I said, you know, I think I'm gonna go and move to LA and become an actress. And I was like, is that nuts? And he goes, always ask yourself, why not me?
Right.
Right? Like, why not me? It can happen for that person and that, like, why not me?
Right.
And I think I kind of like have that on repeat in my head too a lot.
That's important, and it's very valuable.
Yeah.
It's one of those questions that could help you in a moment of crisis. Why not you? Why not me?
Yeah. It happened for this person.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So.
Well, congratulations in everything that you've done and everything that it's coming for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I receive that.
And it's been a pleasure talking to you and having this interview. Thank you for coming and being here with us today.
Thank you.
And please tell us like everything that you want to add to the interview, a point, something that I'm missing.
I think you covered everything. It was you're the next time we interview, I'm gonna be able to sprinkle some Spanish in there.
All right, okay, deal.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, what is your social media and your contact? When can people follow you or check your craft, or how can we contact you?
You can find me on Instagram at Kim Aria Peterson, and my IMDb is under Kimberley Aria Peterson, so you can find me there. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, please follow Kimberly. You can find her on Instagram, and thank you for everything. And don't miss our next interview in Concepto TV.